I just spent the last 24 hours figuring out all the reasons why Facebook's about to ban health and wellness businesses. Here's what I've discovered. Facebook is about to apply new Facebook ad policies to your pixel data that could get you completely banned, and I'll tell you why later on in this video. First, let's discuss why is even health and wellness being targeted in the first place? Well, Meta's been caught in many different lawsuits. Let's just take, for example, where I'm at, Austin, Texas. Don't move here, we're already full. Last year, 2024, Meta lost a lawsuit against the state of Texas for a $1 billion payout because they kept stealing biometric data. I mean, we're talking about $1,400 million. $1 million. Can you imagine how much money that is? So Meta's trying to cut their cost. First by laying off people, then by relying on bots. And now, what does it mean? And why is this happening? Well, that's just one of many lawsuits Facebook was hit with. In 2024, Meta Platforms faced lawsuits from the Adolescent Social Media Addiction, MDL. They got school district lawsuits. They also got state attorney general lawsuits. They got the antitrust lawsuits with FTC. Of course, we have the classic Cambridge Analytica lawsuit. This happened back in 2016 because of the bots from Russia that hacked into Facebook accounts, sowed misinformation through the election, and also cost Facebook $100 million in their stock evaluation. That's a lot of money. Well, now Facebook is coming under, or Meta, I guess I should say, is coming under increased scrutiny now about their piece of JavaScript we affectionately call the Facebook Pixel that was ideal for retargeting. Last year, the Federal Trade Commission brought cases against BetterHelp and GoodRx for allegedly sharing users' sensitive data with platforms, including Meta, through the use of tracking pixels. In June, the FTC and Department of Health and Human Services warned the telehealth providers and hospital systems about the potential dangers of using those tracking pixels on their websites. Going back in time, think about what happened when Tim Cook's friendly, looking out for the small business move of the iOS 14 update, stopping Facebook from being able to track data. You may think that's great. Well, do you know anybody in advertising? They also have family, bills to pay. They got little loved ones they have to take care of as well. iOS 14 was a giant blow to that. Well, it was a huge change across the platform that caused Meta to create CAPI to help you track that data and retarget customers. Well, this new Facebook ban on health and wellness companies from pixel data is just as big as the iOS 14 ban, and I'll tell you why. Up next, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen with these Facebook ad account restrictions on the health and wellness industry and what you can do to prevent it. So, when these new Facebook ad policies began to roll out to restrict the type of pixel data you can send back to Facebook without getting your health and wellness business banned, they actually gave you a little spot where you could request up to 30 days time to make sure that your business was fully figured out to follow these policies to avoid getting banned. In the Meta Event Manager, you would see this little button under settings or data sources where it would say, request more time to give you those 30 days. Well, guess what? That time has already passed. Now, in the next 2 weeks, they're rolling out some of the most massive bans and restrictions possible for the health and wellness industry. Some key points to remember. Each data source or pixel or app has its own extension request. Advertisers must request extensions for each impacted data source individually. Sales reps can't see or request the extension. Advertisers must log into the events manager themselves to check the button and request that extension. Now, sadly, this is already passed. So if you didn't click it, you didn't see it, you didn't telepathically know, you didn't call Miss Cleo and get a psychic reading that Facebook was creating a whole bunch of new ban policies for health and wellness, you probably didn't click it. My clients right now in health and wellness did not see that and did not click it because it wasn't even visible. It's only there for 7 days. Health and wellness are about to be recategorized as a special ad category. Now, if you remember, 2019 was when this stuff debuted when the Fair Housing Authority, in the effort to protect our rights, sued Meta, or Facebook back then, for violating civil liberties because of real estate ads targeting income and zip code, as if somehow that violated civil liberties. Oh yes, because showing mansions to guys in trailer parks because of bad targeting is somehow helping people. Also, as a result of the Fair Housing Authority's lawsuit, what happened is Meta laid off hundreds of employees. Now, I was working at Facebook at that point in time, but I was already promoted to back in tech. So I was safe from those layoffs, but a bunch of my friends got fired. Thanks, Fair Housing Authority. You really helped my friends out. All those lost jobs. Zuck settled out of court for $4 million and passed the buck on to the rest of the company. Hence, we have a lot of outsourced workers on Facebook ad support when you chat in. Well, now, instead of just real estate, politics, gambling, social issues, things like that, health and wellness are included in the special ad category. So what does that mean? 50,000 foot view, it means that as a special ad category in the health and wellness, if you have a med spa, you're a cosmetic surgeon, you're a doctor, you're doing skin products, whatever the case may be, weight loss would fall under this. This means that you're going to have increased scrutiny and magnifying glass over every single thing you do. You're not going to have the same advanced targeting abilities to target people, and you won't be able to use custom audiences the way most of us already are able to do, because it's messed up when you're in the special ad category. This is what Meta's been saying. Meta will categorize data sources, websites, apps based on topics such as health, wellness, and financial services and politics as special ad categories. Advertisers whose websites or apps fall into the restricted category may face partial or full limitations in data sharing. This includes that CAPI won't work for these categorized brands after the move. Meta directly said this means that all events from your website or app will not be shared with Meta, or will be subsequently removed when received if sent server-side, like say CAPI, through any of our business tools. Please note that this change may impact your campaign performance. The impact you may observe to your campaigns will depend primarily on if and how you are currently using these standard events. Ding, 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 standard events. This is the root of this coming ban against health and wellness. It's how the Facebook pixel categorizes these standard events that you're sending data back to Facebook. So why is this happening? So we got all these lawsuits against Meta. They're trying to save a buck, but they're trying to prevent themselves from spending so much more settling these lawsuits. So what they found out is that this pixel data is sending back sensitive PHI information that violates HIPAA laws and standards that regulate the medical industry. Real talk. Facebook is getting sued for essentially wiretapping and stealing medical health data. That's pretty huge. Here's the actual law that the pixel data in standard events has been violating that's about to cause a whole flood of bans on the health and wellness industry. What information is protected? Protected health information. The privacy rule protects all individually identifiable health information held or transmitted by a covered entity or its business associate in any form or media, whether electronic, paper, or oral. The privacy rule calls this information protected health information, or PHI. Individually identifiable health info is information, including demographics data, that relates to the individual's past, present, or future physical or mental health or condition, the provision of health care to an individual, or the past, present, or future payment for the provision of health care to the individual. So what does this mean? It means that that PHI information that is violating HIPAA standards has been skirting around the guardrails for quite some time, because it has not been enforced on the pixel data, even if you're just asking for someone's name and email. That's included now. So how do you know if you're affected? Well, one of the ways, if Meta is doing their job, fingers crossed, you'll get an email that looks something like this. Your data set for Pixel ID blah 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 has been categorized as health and wellness condition. As such, the following data shared restrictions may start in January 2025. So that's in an ideal situation that you'd actually get this email, but how many times does Facebook or Meta communicate accurately? Not as often as we'd like. So how do you know if you're affected by this new ban on health and wellness businesses that are using this sensitive standard events for the pixel data, violating HIPAA laws protecting PHI information? Well, there are two ways to know if you're affected and if you're on the radar. So one way to immediately tell is by checking your data source category in the Meta Events Manager. You'll just go to the settings there and manage data source categories. There you'll see a little pop-up dialog box like this, where it'll tell you if your category is health and wellness as part of that condition. Now here's also something that's important to note. Let's say you're in an adjacent industry. If you're still categorized as health and wellness, those policies fall on you. So you're actually going to need to request a review to get Facebook to recategorize your business if you serve health and wellness, but that's not your actual category for what you do. Maybe you're a marketing agency that markets for health and wellness brands. If you use a lot of that terminology on your website and in your Facebook, Facebook might think that you're actually health and wellness offering those services and categorize you as such. So what happens if you've been miscategorized? First, you'll go to Meta Events Manager, click Data Sources in the icon in the left menu of the page, click the name and ID of your data, click the Settings tab in the top of the page, scroll to the Manage Data Sources category section, and then you'll click on Manage. You'll check your data sources, categories, and statuses, and if you're in an adjacent field or related field to health and wellness, but that's not really what you do, what you want to do is click on Request Review. Now, if you are in health and wellness and you're not lying, that actually is what you do, you got to click Confirm. But really, you can click Request Review if you're not health and wellness but have been falsely categorized as such. So when you take a look at the Meta Events Manager, it's a pretty clunky interface. I really do prefer the old school Pixel best. Thanks from the iOS update. Thanks, Tim Cook. You really helped us out. What's the second way to check? How do you know if you're on the radar for Facebook as one of the businesses that's about to get banned? I'll show you a secret trick. Look in your Meta Events Manager, go to Settings, and then look at Data Sources and scroll down. You won't see it at the top. You got to scroll down to see it. Scroll down and look at Data Restrictions. Now, obviously, for me, the Facebook guru on ad policy and all that great stuff, I'm not in health and wellness. I love it. It's a great industry. I have plenty of clients that are in health and wellness, from doctors to med spas, but I don't do that. So Facebook already knows this, and they've categorized my data as not being applied. So I won't have to face these policies that are coming down with the huge ban hammer on health and wellness because I'm not categorized that way by my data sets. If you see the core setup is on, you will not have an option to turn it off if you're on the radar, which means that you will have to follow these policies or you will get banned. So now mid-February, they're about to lay the ban hammer down really heavy on health and wellness. So how can you stay ahead of Meta's restrictions? That's probably your number one question, right? Let's cover that. First, start by reviewing your brand's classification. Check your events manager to see if your website or app is flagged under the restricted category, whether that's health, wellness, financial services, politics, other, special ed category stuff. And if you're not in that category and they classified you that way, then appeal using the request review that I suggested above. Now pause for a second. If you've seen my other videos, I typically say, don't request review. That's giving the fate of your business from one machine to another to make that choice. This is different. You do want to request review if you've been miscategorized. 2, clean up your website ad claims. You want to avoid exaggerated claims that say you can cure diseases, lose 100 pounds in 2 days with this magical diet, right? Sound realistic. 3, leverage first-party data for long-term success. Through first-party data, you can create custom events to track lower funnel events using neutral custom event names. This is key. Continue tracking lower funnel conversion events through custom events instead of standard events. So it's a really good idea to start testing out that custom event strategy now to stay ahead before you get banned. Meta has said that if you have a properly registered and compliant custom event, it could work for optimization even with those new restrictions. So my website, which is jetskishaman.com, I'm going to use that as an example here. So your standard event, which normally would be called maybe purchase, you rename that as jetskishaman_target. Add payment info standard event, renamed as jetski shaman underscore API for ad payment info. Initiate checkout. Now that is named jetski shaman underscore CKO for checkout. Or add to cart. Now that standard event is renamed jetski shaman underscore ATC for add to cart. Or lead, which you will get banned if you have these, change the lead standard event into something like jetski shaman underscore sub. Then you can start optimizing for lower funnel conversion events instead of standard. You can do this by switching all lower funnel customer conversion events as the conversion target in your ads campaign, while planning for conversion optimization using upper funnel standard events, page view, view content, and search. So you can still use page view, view content, and search. Those are still okay. And turn off advanced matching. If it's auto turned on for auto advanced matching and you're in the health and wellness industry, it'll pull that data that's against HIPAA policies and violate sharing that PHI data that includes name and email and things like that. So to recap, Facebook, or Meta, is reclassifying health and beauty and wellness as special ad categories. As a result, you'll have less targeting, no custom audiences, not in the same way at least, and you'll have to change your standard events to very customized events. You won't have as many optimization options, and essentially you'll have to be very diligent in ensuring that your pixel isn't sending back sensitive PHI data. Are you permanently restricted from advertising on Facebook, but you've got a product or a service that you need to sell and you'd love Facebook ads to do that, but Meta's blocking you from accessing Facebook ads? I have services that can help you with this. I've worked with Tony Robbins, Wu-Tang Clan, Method Man. I've worked with University of Texas. I've worked with a lot of brands, from celebrities to SMBs. And really, I love to help people because I think it's really challenging these days to run ads on Facebook. I've worked at Apple, Microsoft, and Facebook, so I have the industry insights to help you get solutions faster than Googling off Quora, Reddit, LinkedIn, YouTube, and trying to figure it out. So if you'd like to save time and money and avoid getting banned by Facebook, why not trust someone who's actually worked at Facebook and just schedule a call with me below in the link to my calendar, and we'll see if you're eligible for my services. So comment below, what do you think about Facebook reclassifying health and wellness as a special ad category? Like this video, subscribe for more updates, and stay tuned as I'll keep them rolling. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.